Good morning. Morning, Has. I've got a bucket of tea this morning. Morning. How is everyone doing? Hey, Matt. I thought after yesterday, which was quite intense, working our way through downward facing dog, we would bring it back today, a bit more chill. Just a few more kind of calmer stretches maybe, but we're still going to introduce another new pose. So always learning, always trying new things, seeing how they go. I think I need a bigger mug. I know, I just said I've got a bucket of tea this morning. So when you're ready, just coming into seated. Finding that comfortable seat of your own here. It doesn't need to look like mine. You could even begin lying down if you'd like. Just finding your own space here, something that feels comfortable. And as you're ready, we're going to close down the eyes. Maybe placing the hands in the lap, or maybe onto the knees, depending on your seat right now. And just begin to notice how are you feeling this morning? Any sounds around you? Maybe if it feels okay, deepening that breath. Lengthening the inhales and exhales. And as we bring our attention inwards this morning, I just wanted to kind of offer it up for you to maybe just consider setting a little intention for yourself, either for the next 10 minutes, or maybe it's something you could carry into the rest of your day. And I know for people new to yoga, this can be something that feels maybe a little bit uncomfortable or unnatural. So it's completely optional. But maybe just thinking a little bit about an intention you'd like for, as I say, your practice or your day. Maybe something as simple as, I will be kind to myself today. And then if you are setting an intention, just calmly reminding yourself of that as you move through. Just letting it serve as a gentle reminder. Keeping a hold of that breath with the longer inhales and exhales. And just beginning to blink the eyes open if they're closed. And then as you're ready, we're just going to start to marry some movement to our breath. So as you inhale, just bringing the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, bringing them down by your sides. Inhale, bring them up overhead. Maybe you'd like to follow with your gaze, looking up towards the hands. Exhale, bringing them down by your sides. Inhale. Exhale. Bringing the hands onto the knees now, or the legs, however you're sat. We're just going to take a couple of circles. So just bringing the chest forwards. Trying to keep those knees down as much as we can. But as always, just finding what feels most comfortable. If that is letting your knees come up as you move, go with it. There's no right or wrong. And then taking it back the other way. Bringing the chest forwards, feeling that stretch as you move through those circles. Take one more, and then we'll meet back in neutral in the middle. And then we're going to take some seated cat-cows. So we have done these before, but exactly the same as we do in tabletop position. We are just going to drop the belly forwards, chest comes forwards, maybe gazing up. And then as you exhale, arching through the back, maybe gaze comes down towards the chest. Inhale, dropping the belly forwards, gazing up. Exhale, chin to chest. Maybe, if it feels okay, bringing the arms into it. As you inhale, think nice and open as you bring the chest forwards. And as you exhale, bringing the arms together out in front of you. Inhaling. And exhaling. Bringing it back into neutral now. And depending on your position, you might need to do just like me, just swinging your legs round. We're going to come to lie on our front now. Maybe moving from tabletop down onto your front. Just finding the best way down for yourself. And from lying on the belly, we're going to find Sphinx Pose this morning. So, for Sphinx Pose, we just want to have our elbows underneath our shoulders. Hands out in front of you. And similar to how we did yesterday in Downward Facing Dog, those splayed spider hands are going to help you here. So, keeping all of the fingers nice and wide here, giving you that grip. Maybe you're on the tops of your feet, out long behind you, or maybe your toes are tucked. Just finding whichever version of that feels most comfortable. And then from lying down, all we're going to do is, as we inhale, press into the hands, press into those elbows, open through the chest as you rise up, keeping that chin parallel to the ground. Pressing through the feet, press through the hands, and when you press through the hands, think about trying to pull yourself along the mat. So as if you were trying to kind of pull yourself forwards on the mat. So we're not actually going to move, but think about that kind of action as you kind of pull your chest forwards, broadening through those shoulders, pressing through the feet at the back. And then as you exhale, just allowing everything to come back down onto the mat. Press through the hands, push through the knees with the hips towards the sky. We're just going to find child's pose here for a second. Take a couple of breaths here. Maybe revisiting that intention if you set one at the beginning. And then on your next inhale, pressing through the hands, coming back up, all the way through. We're going to find Sphinx again, so coming back through to the top of the mat, bringing those elbows underneath the shoulders, pressing through the hands. As you inhale, rising up, opening through the chest, pressing through the feet, pulling yourself forward with your hands, splaying those fingers nice and wide as you open through the chest. Taking a couple of breaths here. Bring that focus in. And then same thing, as we exhale, bringing everything back down. pressing through the hands as we find child's pose for a few breaths. Not forgetting that option, if you'd like to, of keeping the big toes together and taking the knees out a little wider for a bit of a deeper stretch in child's pose. Just give yourself whatever you need here today. And then on your next inhale, we're going to press up, come to tabletop position just for a second as we transition through, swinging the legs around to one side. We're going to come to lie on our backs this morning. And I know everybody loves a good supine twist, but I thought we'd try something a little different this morning and see how that feels. So bringing the soles of the feet to the mat, knees bent. We're just going to take some, some people call it a figure of four. Some people call it a reclined pigeon pose as well. So with your right foot, we're just going to lift it off the mat and bring that right foot across the left knee. So you can kind of see where the figure of four comes from. And then when you're ready, if it feels good, just lifting that left foot, that left leg off the mat. Option to kind of keep it at that 90-degree angle. Again, if it feels good for you, you can take the hands and maybe take them through behind that left leg. But again, just play with it. It's quite a deep stretch, this one. I like to keep the feet flexed here, so at that 90-degree angle, so you can see kind of pushing away. And there's always the option here, if you'd like to straighten the leg. And then just have a play and a bit of an explore. Do you want to pull that left leg in a little more? Do you prefer it keeping that left leg bent? Just feeling into it. Not worrying if you get cramp or anything like that, just let yourself come out of the pose. Find something that feels more comfortable. And then when you're ready, we're just going to drop that left foot back down onto the mat. Bring that right foot back down to the mat too. And we'll just take it to the other side. So lifting the left foot off the mat this time. Bringing it across onto that right knee. And then same thing, so bringing that right foot up off the mat. Maybe if you'd like to, bringing the hands through and behind that right thigh. So I'm so much tighter on this side. It's a little bit of a squeeze for me to get my arms around and behind that right thigh here. So as always, just noticing. Just notice those differences. Notice how things feel and just lean into them. We've all got totally different bodies, different ways that we're made up. So it's inevitable, it's going to look different for all of us and feel very different for all of us. But that's the fun of it, right? Exploring it and then learning to love it. Focusing on that breath as and when you need it. Maybe the feet are flexed here. And then as you're ready, just bringing that right foot back down onto the mat. Bring that left foot with it down onto the mat. And we'll finish in a nice savasana, a nice resting pose for us today. So take the legs out long. Well, I say take the legs out long. Finding a nice position for you. That's not always lying on your back. If you prefer to find a seat here or child's pose, absolutely give yourself permission to do so. If you're finding Shavasana, maybe taking the arms out alongside the body. and just let everything grow really heavy. Think about melting down into the mat. Maybe letting the ankles grow nice and heavy. Releasing any tension you might be holding in the shoulders or in the face. Just letting your breath return back to its natural rhythm. Maybe revisiting that intention you set at the beginning. And as always, I'm going to leave you here, but please feel free to stay as long as your time allows. Maybe that's another 5 or 10 minutes. Just taking it in, giving yourself that permission. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining.